And from Fox View Lanes in Waukesha, Wisconsin, this is the PBA Fox View Lanes Midwest Open. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm $2 Phil Brylow, bringing you all the action here from Fox View Lanes. We had some fireworks on A squad. Marshall Kent led things off all squad long, had a 298 in the middle of the block, take down leading pinfall. A couple other locals here in the Waukesha area, right behind him in the standings. Got some PBA Tour stars, some good regional players, and a few locals here on B squad. Let's get to the lanes for the last few minutes of practice, and we'll be underway shortly. There you see a little panoramic view. Kind of interesting in this view because there you see on the right Trey Heinrichsmeyer, who just threw on lane 11. He was the Open Division Championship at the PBA LBC National Championships in 2023. This year's champion, Mark Blaha, you see coming off the lanes on lane 8. Blaha, your champion of the Open Classic Division in 2024. And there's EJ Tackett, who's just classic. EJ coming off a runner-up finish last week at his home center of Easy Bowl in Bluffton, Indiana, as Kyle Troop took down EJ Tackett in the championship match. Once again, these players attacking the 44-foot Carmen Salvino pattern. And it's a fresh application since the conclusion of A Squad a little earlier today. We'll give you the A Squad rundown on scores. We'll give you the introductions of all the players here on B Squad. And throughout the course of your afternoon, we'll have some special guests coming into the booth. Definitely, once again, we'll talk to Neil Stremel, Directors of Rules and Equipment for the PBA, as to why the PBA is conducting these research regionals, as I like to call it, on the string pins, where they're administered by the PBA, but there's a few things, just a couple things that are different when it comes to official title consideration and regional players' invitational points for the season. So players with a minute of practice to go. We'll have the announcements from Toby Contreras, and we'll be underway with B Squad momentarily.
Fox View Lanes. Bowlers, split that 8-9 on your first ball. If you don't knock them all down, please make your spares.
All right, let's get your player introductions here on 1 through 4. We'll take it across the house in game 1. Josh Blanchard, Landon Jordan, Jace Meyer, your bowlers on 1 and 2. Alex Acosta, Zach Grothus, Crosby Richter, your bowlers on 3 and 4. Blanchard, of course, multiple-time PBA Tour titleist. Was lucky enough to be on the call. Part of the crew for his last title in Portland, Maine, in the main event shootout a few years back. I know Josh was one player that always enjoyed his time at Bayside Bowl. Landon Jordan, of course, one of the top young players in the country, multiple-time PBA junior titleist. We'll get you through the whole house here in game one, introduce you all the players on the squad, and then we'll stick with the hot hands. Big strings, big games, that type of thing here in the main feed on the PBA Bowling YouTube channel. But with all pairs available in play, as Jordan just puts one of those textbook cover strikes up on lane 2. Yeah, you can follow your favorite player. We'll tell you the lane movement here in the main feed. So if you open the description of the video you're watching on YouTube, you see all the pair links. Right-click on any of those links for the pairs in play, whether it's 1 to 4, 5 to 8, 9 to 12, or 13 to 16, and open up a second tab. That's just going to have ambient audio on it. So with that ambient audio, you want to make sure you stay informed and such. Great cover there by Richter on the 2-4-10. So yeah, you can watch players all day long. Watch your favorite as they cross the house, but keep us on here in the main feed. Double tab it, best way to watch. And a lot of those of you watching already kind of know that. So as Meyer gets everything to cave in, let's take you over to Tack It Squared here on 5, 6, and 7, and 8. There's a messenger for Zach. And he sticks it to EJ a little bit. I got my messenger. How about you? Let's see what EJ can do here. And no messenger needed for EJ, but the fist bump back at him. Beautifully done by the Tackett brothers. So on 5 and 6, you have Griffin Jordan, JT Grothus, and Zach Tackett. 7 and 8, EJ Tackett, Mark Blaha, and Trenton Holtz. Even though it's not an official PBA title for Mark Blaha, I mean, it is the LBC National Championship Open Classic division that Blaha took down this year with an outstanding total. One of only 2 players in the Open Classic division to break the 1,500 barrier for 6 games. Yeah, EJ Tackett does have a pretty unique backswing. It's neat to see the difference between Zach and EJ's backswings. They both coached by their dad, Eddie, over the years. Really the only coach they've had. There's Blaha. And he looked pretty comfortable in practice yesterday. He looked pretty comfortable, too, when he was on the FS1 telecast for the PBA LBC National Championships Clash from Bayside Bowl a couple of weeks back. Didn't walk out with the 60K. That was Gianna Brandolino. What a series of throws by Brandolino. And Zach Tackett takes the 4 over the 7. No string in the way of that one. Once again, the 44-foot Carmen Salvino pattern in play.
Good, how are you?
And the scores on A squad, there are a couple of bowlers that found it quite to their liking. Marshall Kent was plus 243. Chad Moss, plus 194, and Ryan Zagar, plus 190. Moss and Zagar, both formerly PBA members, have bowled a lot of regionals a few years back. Now bowling as guests in the event. Matt Gasson, who owns the Top Notch Bowling Pro Shop here inside of Fox View Lanes. So Gasson with a good day. Couldn't hang around long to enjoy it. He had to get back inside of Top Notch Bowling. Had a bunch of stuff he had to drill out. Luke Switalski, young player out of Oak Forest, Illinois. Switalski plus 125. McCune plus 123. And Brent Dalla plus 111. That's your top 7, 111. Dave Barris, man, he took down several PBA Midwest region titles back in the day. Barris, 8th overall, plus 78. I mean, there's a lot of gap between that plus 111 and plus 78 for bowlers to fit in there. If I'm Dahl, I'm thinking I'm pretty decent to making it to tomorrow. If I'm Barris, I'm sweating a bit. And our host, Stefan Hanen. Hanen with plus 57. Yeah, that's a real big sweat for Hanen right now. I don't think Hanen would be surprised if he did not advance to tomorrow's aptly named advance around competition. Well, a lot of you watching have never seen the string pins up close and personal before. That's going to change a little bit this weekend as 10 on the Deck Productions, that's who's producing this in conjunction with the PBA this weekend. Nice that Tom Clark, Carissa Del Bene, and others at the PBA have allowed 10 on the Deck Productions to stream through the PBA Bowling YouTube page. We appreciate that opportunity. And we're going to have a little bit of a closer look at these string pins here on occasion. As there you see Blaha gets that ball to scramble up nicely, and there you see the strings hanging out over the deck. There's no tension in those strings, really. So there may be some minor tension when the string's going out over the pulley, but not enough to really slow those pins down, especially when you're throwing a powerful of a shot as Blaha and Tackett are. So we'll get back Garrett Jordan shortly, as you see there on 5 and 6. He's on the front 6, but let's get over to other players. Let's get our field introduced. 9 and 10 is Alex Pike, Tristan Albrecht, and Brent Boho. 11 and 12, there you see Trey Heinrichsmeyer. Trey, our 2023 PBA LBC Open Classic Division champion. And Heinrichsmeyer took down the title at a PBA Regional over Memorial Day weekend at Strike and Spare 2 in Lockport, Illinois. And the last weekend of this month and the first weekend of October, Strike and Spare 2 hosting both Midwest RPIs, the Standard Division and the PBA 50. And Chris Watson and Strike and Spare in Lockport, boy, they do a great job for the sport of bowling, PBA and otherwise. And those will be, anything that's RPI related is live streamed by Bowl TV, so you'll need that Bowl TV subscription to watch either of those events coming to you from Lockport. Make a quick peek over back to Griffin Jordan as he's going to be shooting in the 7th frame. Perfect through 6. Let's get to, there you see Jordan creeping into the left side of your screen. And that ball unfortunately creeps high. And the bid at perfection ends at 6. For Griffin Jordan. There you see Brent Boho. Boho did not have a good run at tour trials at the end of August, so he's going to be one of those players if he wants to give the 2025 PBA Tour a shot. He still can through the pre-tournament qualifiers, but there's not going to be a lot of spots advancing out of those PTQs. Boho, multiple-time titleist at the regional level. And let's get over to our final pairings on 13 through 16. PBA Tour titleist A.J. Johnson, Scott Schultz, and Matthew Hibbard, your bowlers on 13 and 14. Johnson, not a good start to this point, 69 in the fifth. Working on back-to-back opens, and when your last 4 frames average count is 6.25, you got to kind of need to work on that. Alex Peglow, Lyle Kuhlman, and Brian Schmidt, so a couple of the PBA 50 regional contingent with Schmidt and Kuhlman taking the lanes on 15 and 16. And once again, all pairs in play streamed on those alternate YouTube channels. So go down in the description of your video, take a look at the pair you want to follow as the day goes along. We'll tell you here in the main feed where players are moving to. And double tab us. Watch your favorite player in the main. Favorite player on your one tab, and keep us on here in the main feed in your second tab so we can give you score updates, guest introductions, and various other quality information. Yeah, it looks like we got some overseas viewers on the squad. I see a German flag up there. Looks like I see some South Asian script in there as well. Not sure if that's Thai or some other Asian script. But, hey, thanks everybody from around the world joining us here from Waukesha, Wisconsin and Fox View Lanes. And we'd like to thank our season-long sponsors that help bring you PBA Regional live streaming with 10 on the Deck Productions, whether we're on the PBA YouTube channel or on the associated PBA Regional channels. The 2025 PBA LBC National Championships. Hey, we got 2 gentlemen on the squad that have taken home $25,000 each from the last 2 LBCs. Could it be your turn next year if you're in the Open Classic division? It's $25,000 on top. Other guaranteed prizes, $5,000 in the Senior Classic, Women's Classic, Men's Handicap, Women's Handicap, and $2,500 in scholarship money guaranteed for the boys and girls handicap divisions. And the best thing is you might have a PBA pro on your squad, but you're not bowling against them. The PBA exempt players, if they're in the top 50 in point, or if they're the exempt list for 2025, they're going to have to bowl in their own category at the LBC National Championships. If you're a PBA LBC bowler now, or a Bolero LBC bowler, or you've bowled past LBC National Championships, your entries are open now. Go to pba.com/LBC tournament. Josh Blanchard looking to put a game in the 250s on the board. And the 710 says not this time. Other season-long sponsor that we have is H5G Brands. And right now, save 35% site-wide with just a couple minor exceptions. If you see a jersey you like the one you see on Josh Blanchard, that's a pretty sharp jersey. Or Zach Grathis with the homage to Donkey Kong. They can get those designs made for you. They're also the official merchandiser of the PBA. So get your PBA souvenirs as well. No code needed through October 15th at h5gbrands.com. So players finishing up this opening game of B-Squad competition. Players will simply move 1 pair to their right, so everybody you see on 1 and 2, they're going to go over to 3 and 4. If you're watching Grothus, Acosta, and Richter, well, you'll have to open up that feed on lanes 5 through 8 because they're going to be going to 5 and 6. I'm $2 Phil Brylow taking you through the entire weekend until we crown our champion here at the PBA Foxx 2 Lanes Midwest Open. And when that champion gets to take home a great trophy and a nice check for $5,000. Game 2 coming up next. And game 2 is underway. We'll start with Heinrichsmeyer, Page, and Wyckoff on 13 and 14, on 15 and 16. A.J. Johnson, Scott Schultz, and Matt Hibbard. Get you a scoring update for the initial game of B Squad momentarily. Once again, Marshall Kent leading things off of A Squad with an average of just above 230. And we're not the only PBA region in action this weekend. We may be the only ones live streaming to PBA YouTube, but you can always check out what's coming up on the PBA regional schedule at PBA.com. You'll see the PBA Tour drop-down menu on the top middle of the page. When you hover your mouse over that, it brings down the drop-down menu with PBA Regional Tour. Click on that, and you'll get the schedule this week. In Fayetteville, North Carolina, it's the PBA Lafayette Lanes Fayetteville Open. That's in the South region. In the Southwest region, the PBA 50 Hot Springs Village Southwest Open in Hot Springs Village, Arkansas. Out in California, Tulum, California, the PBA and PBA 50 are both battling at Black Oak Lanes. Tomorrow in Jackson, Michigan at Dave Small's Jack's 60. The PBA Jack 60 Central Open. Once again, Dave Small, great host of PBA events at the regional and national level. As Dave Small approaching his 100th PBA event hosted. Just an amazing, amazing total with just 6 bowling centers in the Fun Time Centers chain. And then out east, there is a RPI qualifier this weekend. The PBA 50 at Rippix Carousel Lanes Bowl TV RPI Open, of course, with it being Bowl TV. You'll have to have a Bowl TV subscription to watch. We are free for all this weekend. Thanks again to the PBA LBC National Championships, H5G brands, and for this weekend again, the BowlerX.com support. They're supporting Striking Out Against Breast Cancer in October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Make a purchase at BowlerX.com, and if you make the optional donation to Striking Out Breast Cancer at checkout, you'll be entered into a raffle drawing. For every $500 raised, BowlerX.com is drawing one winner to win a free bowling ball, a free bag, or free shoes valued up to $250. So thanks again to the Santa family with Lee and Krista and BowlerX for all they do to support and give back to the sport of bowling, BowlerX.com. We also have some local sponsors this weekend that help bring the prize fund up to $5,000. The first place check. Those sponsors include the Waukesha USBC, Certix Decorating, Master Machine Company, top-notch bowling inside of Foxview Lanes, and, of course, Foxview Lanes. That's right, every Friday night, get your live music fix here at Foxview. Check out the band schedule on the Foxview Lanes Facebook page. let's take a peek down. We're going to move it down to the first 4, 1 through 4. As we have Landon Jordan. We saw his brother Griffin with the front 6 in game number 1. Now Landon on 3 and 4 with the front 4. You see Landon Jordan stepping up on the right side of your screen. And 6 does the job on the 10. And the first 5 for Landon Jordan. Lyle Kuhlman, Brian Schmidt, Alex Peglow. Your bowlers on 1 and 2. Kuhlman with a 192 start, Schmidt with a 193. Joining them on the pair, Alex Peglow, 196. Now Peglow front 4 here in game 2. On B squad, after your first game of qualifying, Brent Boho, 258. Landon Jordan, 256. So Jordan trying to pile it on right now. We saw the hot start that Marshall Kent had this morning. Jordan using a little different line, not as far left as early. And that's the front half for Landon Jordan. Jordan with that 256, Josh Blanchard 235, and that was with a vicious 710 in the 10th. EJ Tackett 232, Griffin Jordan 230, another player with a vicious 710 in the 10th. Zach Tackett 215, Scott Schultz 213, Matt Hibbard 202. Your only players on this squad at 200 after the opening game on this 44-foot Carmen Salvino pattern. Other notables in the field, Mark Blaha, 192. Trey Heinrichsmeyer, 185. And A.J. Johnson, 173. Jordan of the Landon variety, stepping up on lane 4, looking for a satisfying 7th in a row. And look at that pin spin around on the deck. Let's take a quick peek in over at Zach Tackett on 7 and 8. Tackett opened in the first. He's followed up with 5 in a row. And he's not going to make 6, you see there. The 3, 6, and 10. He had one chance at a 300. In game 3, Ace squad, that was at Marshall Kent. And Kent decided to forego a full attempt at the $100 PBA bonus for 300. And just got some information. Made a ball change on the fill ball. Came up a little light. Made the educated guess. Left the 2-8. And the 298 game was on board for Kent. 777 for Kent's first 3 today. And he rode that into a plus 243 total. The thing that killed him, though, was game 7. He hit 1 and 2 and had some issues and only put up a 150 on the board. We'll have Neil Stremel, PBA Director of Rural Equipment, into the booth around game 5. So if you have questions you'd like us to ask Neil Stremel, put them in the chat. We'll save them up and ask Neil when we get him in the booth. So you comment in the chat about the mind side of string pins. Well, you gotta have a good mental game in bowling, and this is just another thing that players have to figure out as Jordan comes up light, and that's going to be the 2-8. So the bit of perfection for Jordan of the Landon variety done. And I don't think it's necessarily more perfect, as you ask these players, and a lot of it's just the ball motion, whether it's free fall, string, bowling at Holler House, wherever it may be. Getting your way to have the ball get through the pins properly. And talking to some of the players, they're looking at getting the ball through the pins properly. Other ones are just like, doing what I've done, and they seem to be falling. I think sometimes people can just overanalyze and overthink whether it's a lane condition, pins in play. So absolutely, there's a mind side of this. I agree with you on it. Just a matter of how you let it affect you. If you think you have to be perfect to get through any rack, what do you do to not squeeze the ball, not try to fit your shot, that type of thing. I think bowlers look at it, but they don't overanalyze it. It's one of the many factors taken into consideration. As Coolman with the scrambler. As I mentioned, all three bowlers over on 1 and 2 in the 190s their opening game, so looking to improve on those scores. Peglow with a good start right now. Let's take a peek in on our leader with Boho after his opening game of 258. See where he's trying to torch the lanes up. Pretty direct line, and I gave that one a lot of extra. And he's got this sleeper little 9-pin in back. Holtz having some struggles early. We saw a couple lefties on the opening squad of the day on A squad that had some issues early on. Brent Dowell solved it out, though. Dowell got himself to plus 111. Trenton Holtz, though, not a good start for Holtz. 1-4-0 the start for Holtz, and he still doesn't seem to have it fully figured out as of yet. Landon Jordan did strike in the 9th frame, so when he's up in the 10th, we'll get you back down to 3 and 4 and see what the man who shot 256 his opening game can do to exceed that score here in game 2. Oh, and the chop for Boho. Jacob, I see the question. We'll forward that to Neil when he gets in the booth in game 5 or so. I know there's going to be a lot of interested parties in that. There's also a good time that Neil will give you some of the logic and questioning into the method of research into what the PBA is looking for during these PBA research regionals, as I like to say. Attacking of the EJ variety, looking for a huge game here. Gave that a little extra. Oh, the 6 leaned on the 10. Didn't even need the messenger. You see the smile for EJ on the way back. Could have used one more of those last week to take down the title at his home center. Instead, it went to Kyle Troop. Here's Landon Jordan. And once again, another 2-8. So back-to-back 2-8s for Jordan of the Landon variety. But still a spare here. He'll be in the 250s, and he'll be in good shape after 2 games. Once again, appreciate everyone watching live this afternoon. Appreciate everybody tuning in after the fact as well. We know it's a Saturday. We know there's a lot of things going on. Other live streamed bowling events as well. We mentioned the RPI. That's on Bowl TV. There's a couple other amateur events out there that viewers can watch, and we're glad you selected us here on the PBA Bowling YouTube channel to watch some of the best in the sport battle it out with some of the best local and regional players and see who's going to take down the $5,000 first place check at the end of tomorrow's stepladder competition. That stepladder is scheduled to start at about 1:30 p.m. Central Time. We'll have advances round tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. So the player movement, for those of you double tabbing us, skipping a pair, landing on the second. So the players you see here on 9 and 10, they're going to go to 13 and 14. Boho and company will end up on the end pair, 15 and 16. I'm $2 Phil Bryler, taking you through the weekend until we crown a champion here at the PBA Foxx Lanes Midwest Open. Thanks for joining us on PBA YouTube, and please let people know they can watch great players like EJ Tackett, Zach Tackett, Josh Blanchard, some of the big names you see on tour. Kevin McCune. And A.J. Johnson. Live all weekend long. Game 2 officially in the books. Game 3 now underway from Foxx View Lanes in Waukesha, Wisconsin. And the PBA Foxx View Lanes Midwest Open. I want to thank some of the sponsors that made this happen this weekend here locally, including the Master Machine Company, Certix Decorating, the Waukesha USBC, and of course our host center, Foxx View Lanes. Live music on Friday nights, every Friday night. Check out the Foxx View Lanes Facebook page for all your band and other pertinent information. I'll start you off here on 9 through 12 in Game 3. Acosta, Grothus of the Zach variety, and Richter. Uh, 9 and 10 on 11 and 12. Jordan of the Griffin variety, Grothus of the JT variety, and Tackett of the Zach variety. Your players on 11 and 12. 2-game scoring updates come across the wires shortly. And for those of you joining us, yes, this is a regional, and let's put the term research regional being done. There's no official title awarded this weekend for the PBA, and there's no points added to a player's respective regional players invitational season-long points list for their finish in this regional. This is more of a research regional. We'll have Neil Stremel in the booth in Game 5. He'll talk a little bit more about the details on what's being done with this research on the QubicaAMF string pin setters. There's other string pin setter manufacturers out there. Just happens to be at the last 2 weekends we've been in centers that have QubicaAMF Edge installations. And so data being gathered along with prize money being won, and it's a pretty healthy regional prize this weekend. $5,000 is what the winner is going to be walking away from here tomorrow, along with a great trophy. So sure, it might not be an official PBA title, but the trophy's still on your mantle and the check goes in the bank account. So that's a pretty good consolation, I would say, for not having an official PBA title. I think this is the highest paying regional in the Midwest this season. Hi, Kayla. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Hope all is well in Indiana. Thanks for being a great host with the rest of the Tackett family last weekend at Easy Bowl when we were there. And if you missed that stepladder final, I mean, sure, we had qualifying you could watch as well, but just go right to the stepladder final from last weekend. It's here on the PBA Bowling YouTube page. We have Kyle Troop and EJ Tackett. You talk about two of the top 5 players in the game currently battling it out for a title. That's a match you're going to want to watch, and it's still available to you. Just go back a little bit farther on the PBA YouTube channel, and you'll find that Family Ford of Bluffton at Yergie's Barbecue Easy Bowl Central Open from last Sunday. That stepladder. Give it a watch tonight. Give it a watch tomorrow. You'll see some exciting bowling, no doubt. And just behind it for Acosta. Let's go over to 5 through 8 as Landon Jordan should be our leader after 2. Both games in the 250s to open up here. And a great toss there by Jordan. Your update after 2 games, Landon Jordan, you see stepping up now in lane 8. Plus 111, games of 256 and 255. EJ Tack at second at plus 92 on games of 232 and 260. Oh, how about that? Scramble him up for Jordan and a 3-bagger. Brent Boho drops to third at plus 57. Alex Peglo at that same number. Boho goes 258, 199. Peglo takes it in the other direction, 196, 257. Josh Blanchard, who you're going to see stepping up here on lane 7. Blanchard at plus 39. Zach Tack at plus 33. Trey Heinrichsmeyer at that same number. And Griffin Jordan at plus 27. The only other player plus on the squad, Matt Hibbard. Hibbard at plus 15 for the first 2 games. Brian Schmidt, 167 in game 2, drops Schmidt back to minus 40 over on 5 and 6. Kuhlman, minus 27. And of course, you mentioned Peglo taking the score up to plus 53 after that solid game. Jace Meyer rounding out the pairings in 7 and 8. Meyer having a rough start. Meyer 155, 183 for the first 2 games. So Meyer's got a long way back as Landon Jordan feeling it now. There's the Rob Stone pork product for Jordan. Now let's take a look at Blanchard's toss. As Blanchard, only 2 strikes through 7 attempts so far here in game 3. Oh, there you go. Flush. 5 pins on one side of the rack, 5 pins on the other side of the pit. Beautifully done by Josh Blanchard. Yeah, the crew from QubicaAMF. That's here, Josh Blanchard being part of that crew. Put on a nice presentation yesterday here at Foxx View Lanes for a bunch of proprietors that were in from all across Wisconsin, a couple from Northern Illinois. Checking out Gentlemen, wait till Neil gets in the booth. When we get Neil Stremel in here, he had a nice explanation on what exactly the PBA is looking at when it comes to competition pinfall during these research regionals, and what is going to be taken into consideration before these would ever be considered to bowl on for an official title. Sure, this weekend, everyone knows coming in, there's no title on the line, there's no RPI points. Yes, it's a very nice paycheck for a regional. It's one of the highest ones all season. No matter what regional we're in. And sure, there's going to be differences, but if you just blast on the chat saying that, you know, we're saying everything's all great, hunky-dory, and there's no difference. No, we've never even come close to saying that last weekend in Bluffton or through A Squad here in Waukesha. So wait till Neil comes in, and then if you have further questions about what he's detailing on his research and what we're doing to help with that research with live streaming these events and having replays and such to go back and look after, then spew. But unless you're here watching, unless you watched all last weekend, unless you've bowled on them yourself, hold the spew for now. Thanks. Take a peek down on our high end, 13 to 16. EJ Tackett, we mentioned him finishing last game with a 260. He's not going to get there this game. Open frame in the first, still a good game going, working on a double. Can still get to 227. Mark Blaha, nice five-bagger in there after a first frame open, so Blaha looking to get up into the positive. Yeah, you just watch EJ. He's not happy with the release on that at all, and yeah, easy to see why there's disappointment. Looks like Trenton Holtz found something. He's had some struggles the first two games. Holtz currently at minus 75 for 2, and Holtz might not get all the way back in the positive here in Game 3, but working his way back towards it. It is an 8-game qualifying block. These players know there is a way to go yet, and the messenger in front of the 10 for Boho. Tristan Albrecht at minus 25 for his first two. And finishing out the Albrecht-Boho pairings is Alex Pike. Pike at minus 21. Boho currently plus 57. Third on the squad. And Blaha's got that look on the lanes right now like he had the last couple of games of the LBC National Championships in Mount Prospect this year when he took down the Open Class Division title. Hey, take the messenger off the milk carton. We've got one that carried. Alex Pike. See, messengers aren't dead. They're just missing once in a while. You just got to make sure the ball gets through the pins. Boom. Yeah, Blaha, great finish with a ball change between games 5 and 6 as well that had him finish with over 500 for his last two, over 1,500 for his 6-game total, and that's what got him the $25,000 in the Open Classic division this year. Boho likes the result. Boho can still get to 238. Holtz, living a little bit of a high life there for Holtz. Trips to 6-8. We're going to check in on Landon Jordan really quick here as he finished off strong once again. That six-bagger late in the game. It's going to have him in the 240s. When he converts, waiting on a single pin leave to come back down. You got to take the bad with the good there, Mr. Blaha, and that happens to be a bad strike that looks good on the scoreboard. Ah, Mr. Hibbard. Yeah, the rest of your family's here. I gave him grief for not coming down to watch you bowl last weekend at the Bluffton Regional, and then, yeah, they gave me grief about not being able to watch you on Sunday, so. Whoops. No, it was all good, obviously. Yeah. You put up a big bar last week for your brother Matt to try to get past. We'll check in on Matt in a moment. As Billy Hibbard, William Hibbard as we know him as well, took down a sixth-place finish in Bluffton last weekend. There's Heinrichsmeyer. Heinrichsmeyer plus 33 after games of 185, 248. Lots of practice at Wichita State for Heinrichsmeyer since he started school in early September, and they have their first meet for Wichita State for the men's team next weekend at home at the Mid-States Classic at Bolero North Rock. So good luck to Heinrichsmeyer and his teammates. There's the Hibbard of the Matt variety, looking for a six-pack, not going to happen. And you see the temporary frustration by Hibbard. Ralph, you anything you want to pass along to your kid? He's watching down home in Indiana. He's saying that number 2 here isn't good enough. So I know you didn't really say that, Billy, but come on. It's fun to stir the pot. But you did put up a sixth-place finish last week, so there you go. Nothing wrong with a little sibling rivalry. Matt Hibbard right now it's sitting at plus 15 for 2. And a good game here. Keep it clean. Pop another double. You could be looking at 230s go off the sheet. You're in the 240s. Once again, if you're looking to follow your favorite player all the way through, you do have all pair feeds available to you. Just open up the description on the video you're watching now on the main feed, and then right-click any of those other pair feeds. Keep 2 tabs open. Keep us on in here. Obviously, we get you score updates. We get you information. We follow some hot hands. We'll have special guests in the booth. We'll have Neil Stremel in here in Game 5 for at least a couple of games as A.J. Johnson takes them all back. A.J. Johnson minus 17 after 2, the 173 start offset by a 210 game 2. And Hibbard sets up the 10th frame nicely. So schedule the rest of the weekend. We'll take our top 16 combined after A and B squad. Final standings are posted. And those players will come back tomorrow morning, the advancers round at 9 a.m. Central Time. And then after 4 games of advanced rounds complete, we'll cut to the top 8. That'll start immediately after scores are verified. And once three games of round of 8 competition is done, we will have our top 4 advancing to a step-ladder final. That is scheduled to start at 1:30 p.m. Central Time tomorrow. Once again, these players rolling on the 44-foot Carmen Salvino pattern this afternoon at Foxview Lanes, pardon me. And Heinrichsmeyer feeling it coming into the 10th. Looking for the big finish, climbing up that leaderboard. Well, Tackett was done with his game. That's why we're not on Tackett right now. But if you want to follow EJ Tackett next game, open up the pair feed on lanes 3 and 4. And you can watch all the Tackett to your heart's content in Game 5. That's what we make the pair feeds available for. That way you can follow your favorite player all the way through a round if you so choose. As we said, right-click on it, open it up in a new tab, and then that way you get the best of both worlds. You get us talking to Neil Stremel or other guests that might come in the booth. We get your score updates. We follow if someone's going for perfection here in the main feed, and then you can watch your favorite player throw every shot on the pair feed. So finishing up this third of 8 qualifying games here on B Squad, Game 4 of the PBA Foxx Lanes Midwest Open. Coming up next, and we want to thank our sponsors season long, the PBA LBC National Championships 2025 edition coming to you from Bolero Mount Prospect in the greater Chicagoland area starting in late May, running for 7 consecutive weekends. Get all your tournament information at pba.com/LBC tournament. And H5G Brands. Big sale right now to celebrate the arrival of fall here in southeastern Wisconsin. Save 35%, pretty much site-wide. Limited exceptions apply, and there's no code needed at checkout through October 15th for that savings. H5GBrands.com. All right, we'll start with a couple of frames here. Got Tackett and Tackett. EJ on your right, Zach on your left. Zach Tackett on 1 and 2, bowling with Griffin Jordan and JT Grothus. EJ Tackett bowling with Mark Blah and Trenton Holtz. We'll get you a 3-game scoring update. Coming up next. See the comment by Larry P in there about the, as a lot of people put, the carnival strings. Question for you: could you convert those machines over to certified machines? Is that something that's possible? I don't have anybody from QubicaAMF near me right now. There's a couple of reps here. Obviously, a little tough to talk to Josh Blanchard because he's bowling a PBA regional. I don't see. There's one other rep here I don't see, unfortunately, at the moment. But is that something you'd consider, Larry, if you're still watching? I'm kind of curious about that. If I guess if the price is right, would you convert to, or can they be converted? No, they can be converted. Okay, thanks for the info, Larry. So it's something that in the future you could look into. That's good to know. Blaha. You watch Tackett go 2-10 combo, then Blaha does the same thing. Oh, there's something you don't see very often. I don't care what kind of pins you have. Free fall string, Fred Flintstone. You don't see the 2-pin being chopped off the 4 by a right-hander very often. That's a pretty interesting one right there. Well, who needs footwork? Apparently not Zach Tackett, as he puts a double on the board with some questionable dance steps at the foul line. Stayed behind. Foul lights are fully operational here at Foxx View Lanes. Of course, part of the whole installation package with pin setters. You know, make sure your foul lights are working as well. Here we go again with another. We'll just come in the chat and spew. There's been plenty of Bolero centers that have strings already. As you know, Bolero is a publicly traded company, so therefore they needed to disclose, and they have to keep lines of communication open with their shareholders about what centers are having done, if they're building new, if they're remodeling, all that stuff. If that was the case, PBA would have approved these when Bolero bought the PBA. Great conversion there by EJ Tackett. in 2019 because they already had centers that had strings in them, carnival strings, whatever you want to call them. So and the name is $2 Phil, not my guy. So appreciate that. So once again, we'll have Neil Stremel in next game. Director rules of equipment. One thing, in my opinion, I've known Neil for a quarter century, back in his ABC, WIBC days and then USBC days. One thing to not question about that man is integrity and research and methods. I was lucky enough to be able to work with he and his crew as a little bit of an angler on the pocket 6-pin. Is it going to get the slow roller? Not quite for Tackett. Back in the days when sport bowling was being developed. So in research and methods and everything, spotless. Oh, okay. That's okay to know, Larry. Thanks for the info, though. I know some. I've heard some machines can be converted. I don't know which manufacturers can. So I know these machines here at Foxview, and the machines we bowled on last week at Easy Bowl, the Tackett Family Center in Bluffton, Indiana. Those are dual machines with dual settings. One setting for recreational play that keeps the strings a bit shorter, and the other for USBC-certified play, such as what you're seeing here this weekend. They will instruct the PBA to approve. How many PBA events actually happen in Bolero centers? Let's see, last week there was a string pin regional. Oh, it was at a small family-owned center owned by the Tackett family, E.J. Tackett, Zach Tackett family. This week we're at a small family-owned center owned by the Hainan family. They own one other center. They're not corporate-owned. They're family-owned. A couple of weeks back in Utah, there was a string pin test regional as well. That regional, Kevin Williams was there, Bug Kroll was there. They had some reviews on it if you want to read their social media pages. Once again, small family-owned center. Lehigh Lanes, where they had the PBA 50 string pin regional in May in Florida. Thank goodness they didn't suffer any damage during the latest hurricane with Milton. Small family-owned center hosting a PBA event. This weekend, PBA regional schedule. Let's see. Lafayette Lanes, not owned by Bolero. The Hot Springs Village Southwest Open, not owned by Bolero. Liberty Lanes in Hot Springs Village, Arkansas. PBA Battle at Black Oak and the PBA 50 Battle at Black Oak in California. Black Oak Lanes, not owned by Bolero. Tomorrow at Jack 60 in Jackson, Michigan, Dave Small owns center. Yes, Dave Small owns multiple centers. He owns 6 of them, but not Bolero owned. You're at Foxview Lanes, not Bolero owned. Rippex Carousel Lanes, where the PBA 50 East Region RPI is being held this weekend. Not Bolero owned. So every PBA event this weekend is in a non-Bolero center. So once again, before doing your spewing in the chat, do some research. Bolero may own the PBA. Yes, that's a fact. Bolero may use the PBA on TV to market their centers. Also true. When you look at a majority of the PBA events, whether on the national tour or at the regional level, 80 to 90% of those events, especially at the regional level, forcing the 90%, are in non-Bolero-owned centers, are in mom-and-pop centers like this one, like Easy Bowl. Dougie, you know I'm not mean. Come on, man. It's $2 fill. Come on, Dougie. I'm not mean. I just don't deal with just people coming in and spewing hate in the chat. You want to spew hate? You better have your facts right. Because if you don't have your facts right, I'm going to call you out on it. You're entitled to your opinion. That's fine. I'm entitled to mine. But I'm going to throw some facts out there on top of it. If you can't back it out with facts, no, that's where we have issues. Finding sponsors at a local level is not anything they're interested in getting. Well, first of all, define they. I know who your they is talking about. Let's see. So we have a $5,000 first place prize in this regional this weekend on 48 entries. I mean, regionals are never about the number of entries. They have that big of a prize when you can't do it without local sponsors. Hey, look who we got here. Boom. Local sponsor, proud sponsor of the PBA Foxx Lanes Open. Certix Decorating, local business. Another local business. Boom. Master Machine Company, sponsoring this. Another one. Waukesha USBC, the local USBC, jumping on board to help promote bowling locally. Holy cow, that does happen. Doesn't happen a lot in southeastern Wisconsin, and I can vouch for that. That's a whole separate rant I'm not going to get into on the PBA airwaves. I'll get into it on my own. So there you go. It's how much do people want to work at it? I've got a local TV bowling show going on now. Bruce City Bowling Show starts October 26th on an over-the-air channel, My 24 in Milwaukee. I went out and hustled sponsors for that. I've got sponsors like Circa Las Vegas, where players can, if a bowler wins it on the show, they can go out to Circa Las Vegas, get a 2-night stay, and get a complimentary daybed rental by Stadium Swim. That's worth like $300 for the daybed rental alone. I've got grocery stores. I have spice companies. I have auto dealers. I have restaurants, bars, casinos. So many different sponsors for this bowling show. It's not a matter of going out and just opening the doors, clicking your fingers, and getting a sponsor. It's about going out there, busting tail, and getting them. They've done it here at Fox U. They did it last week in Bluffton, a town of 5,000 people. Family Ford of Bluffton, title sponsor. Yergis Barbecue, presenting sponsor. Boom. Rogue, thanks for that. Bring me back to reality. Expect people to listen to facts. Have I seen society the last decade? Just give me a good chuckle. Thanks. Bolero's not interested in doing work, then how come one of the highest paying super regionals every year is at a Bolero Center in Chesapeake, Virginia? I believe this year it paid $8,000 for first back in August. The only other region I know it pays more is the super regional in Coldwater. So, yeah, $8,000 for a regional at a Bolero in Virginia. So. Lighter side, Zach is the younger brother of one EJ. I always want to screw people and say they were actually twins born, 3 years apart, but some people may not get that joke. Oh, there it is, the trip 4. Well, once again, people throwing their hate at Bolero. I mean, I can throw hate at my local Bolero because I bowled league there for 20-whatever years at Bolero in Wauwatosa. I mean, that's the reason why the company's named Bolero, because Tom Shannon enjoyed it so much that, liked the name so much. That's why he renamed the company. So, but don't confuse local hires and bad managers at locally and that type of thing with don't say it happens everywhere. I mean, we were at Bolero Mount Prospect this year and for the LBC National Championships, and boy, I'll tell you what, Gina and her staff down there were on the ball for everything. That center was clean. The center was well run. So yeah, so don't, it's like everything else in bowling. Everybody throws an umbrella on it. Hey, let's throw an umbrella over string pins suck. String pins are the worst thing for the sport. Let's throw an umbrella over Bolero is terrible. Let's throw an umbrella over USBC is useless. Let's throw. Sure, go ahead. Throw that umbrella. You're not right. You think you solve an easy argument for yourself, but you ain't right. We're going to get Neil Stremel in here for Game 5. We'll lighten the tone a little bit, unless somebody, wants to spew again. So, oh, that's a terrible break for Zach. Light 410. Player movement, for those of you double tabbing us, they're going to skip 2 pairs and land on the third. So this is the biggest move they make all block long. So these players you see on 1 and 2, they're going to move their way down to, I'm sorry, this game they're just moving next door. They make the big move next game. So 1 and 2 goes to 3 and 4, 3 and 4 goes to 5 and 6. Then they'll make the big move after Game 5. So, Larry, I want video of you throwing an umbrella. Game 5 and Neil Stremel coming up next. This is my favorite part of each squad the last couple of weekends. In the booth, joining us in the booth is the man who handles all the rules and equipment, policies, procedures for the PBA, Neil Stremel.
Buenos dias, señores y señoritas.
How many languages do you know? I mean, you've traveled the world for years with your positions back in the day with the USBC and with World Bowling and such. So you must have a touch of quite a few languages to be able to roll off the tongue.
Yeah, I barely speak English, but you know, a little bit of Spanish I can kind of get away with. But everywhere I went, I always learned how to say thank you. I find that being able to say that in most any situation is beneficial. People in those countries, if you say it in their language, they will kind of help you out if you need help because they see that you're trying. And the typical American kind of doesn't seem to do that. You know, we're a little more, I don't know if arrogant's quite the right word, but, you know, we're not always the nicest when we travel or we expect people to speak English or whatever. So if you just learn to say thank you in whatever language, it's very beneficial. So I can say thank you in, I don't know, about 25 different languages, actually.
Arigato.
Domo arigato.
Arigato.
And kap kun krap, that's Thai.
Okay.
And,
I think we had somebody in Thai in the chat earlier, to be honest.
Oh, there you go.
I saw Karina in the chat, so pacing quite rapidly here with Meyer, Blanchard. Yeah, Meyer, Blanchard, and Landon Jordan. They had nobody next to them, obviously, for the first couple of frames, so they're way ahead on pacing. One would think they may slow down a little bit here. You don't want to be standing around for another 20 minutes before your next game.
Yeah, it would behoove them to slow down a bit. Plus, they're going to have somebody next to them starting now, and so they will have to slow down at least a little bit.
Right.
But, yeah, they're still on the unpair, so, yeah.
So if you have questions for Neil, I mean, no better time to ask them than now, let's be honest. So I had a question that was posed much earlier, and jumping right to, they say never jump to conclusions, but people want to know when the conclusion to your research studies planning on being published. So that was a question presented by Jacob earlier, is when will the string pin report results be posted once it's complete, and when will, when and where?
Yeah, well, it won't be tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah.
But, I was just talking to Mike Holtz, former GM at Super Bowl, and good old friend and his son's bowling here today. And anyways, I was just saying, there's a lot of data to go through. So I'm going to have to spend time getting through all that data and doing the comparisons between free fall and string pin and going through the video because there's going to be some unique things that we want to kind of look at and publish and post. And so I'm going to have to try to hunt up videos of the different strikes and or spares. And so that's going to be, some time there. So I'm not sure how long it'll take me to get through all that, but it'll be weeks, and then once I get it written up, I'm sure I'm gonna have to sit down with Tom Clark and maybe Mike Sleds and some other PBA folks to kind of go through like the summary and the conclusions and make sure that we're all in agreement and discuss the unique pinfalls that we have to decide, like, does it matter to us or not in certain situations. Yeah. So after that, getting the approval to get it published might take another couple of weeks. So that puts it close to like a month and a half. Either way, I know we want to post it this year. We want to be able to say for 2025, this is the plan, yay or nay. So I don't know if that fully answers the question, but I would, I feel comfortable saying this year, and hopefully it'll be sooner than that, a few weeks sooner than that. But in some cases, it's not up to me, like when we actually are going to post it. It could be done and then sit there and not get posted for a few weeks, a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Anyways, long answer, end of the year.
All right. And now you're not looking at every single pinfall that happens in all these string pin events. There's there's a method to the research madness that you are undergoing at this time.
Exactly. Think I don't have to look at every pinfall. I mean, I've watched a lot already and written, I have pages actually written down of, different videos from the different tournaments that I want to look at and possibly post with the report. But I'm not going to go through every shot, every video. So when we do the review, it'll be comparing these tournaments with the string pin. So these 3 string pin tournaments, I'm going to take that data and compare it to data from the PBA Tour season earlier this year. And so, for example, I will look at every spare that is left and look at the percentage of how often that's left. And, here we see the 1, 2, 4 and be like, all right, how often did we leave that on the national tour, which is all free fall pins? And let's say it's 0.52%. And then if we look at it here for all the string pin tests, and it comes out to be 2.5%. That's a huge difference, and it's be something like, well, why is that 5 times as often? And we'll spend some time looking at that, and that's when I'll want to find the video for those spares that are left, and take a look at like why is that left more often? Yeah. That's just an example.
So, yeah, thanks to everybody that's made the comments about, being able to see the string pins for the first time. There's a lot of chatter out there, and everybody gets stuff in short, it's social media. You get a short 1-minute snippet of somebody bowling or one shot of a good break, bad break, whatever type of thing. So, thanks to those of you that are coming in to watching the stream with an open mind like we are, like we've been watching these strings with an open mind and, seeing what's going on for yourself and being, able to just go, okay, well, maybe this might be something that we need to take a little further look at. And the bowlers out here this weekend have that opportunity. If they see something that seems unusual to them, they have the ability to give that information to you, don't they?
Yeah, I said during the meeting before we started each squad, so hey, if you see something weird, unique, anything that you want me to pull up and take a closer look at, let me know, and I'll write it down, and we'll take note of what game, what lane, and what frame, and I'll take a look at it, and then, depending on what it is, maybe make that part of the report or discuss it as part of the report, etc. So it's going to be definitely be part of the process.
Let's give you a rundown of your top players here on B Squad. After 4 games, Landon Jordan still leading your squad at plus 168. Trey Heinrichsmeyer second, plus 94. EJ Tackett third, plus 92. We'll peek in on EJ Tackett momentarily. Josh Blanchard, you watch a lot of Josh this game. Blanchard sitting in 4th on the squad at plus 83. Brent Boho 5th, plus 79. Matt Hibbert 6th, plus 73. Alex Pike 7th, plus 52. Mark Blaha, who's on that same pair with EJ Tackett, at plus 32. And Zach Tackett, Alex Pegel around at the top 10. And that's all your players in plus for pinfall after 4 games. So just 10 of our 24 players on the squad averaging 200 or better. And once again, we're kind of seeing, we saw with Marshall Kent on A squad, Neil. And now we're seeing with Landon Jordan on B squad. We just see kind of one player start to distance themselves from the field a little bit. That doesn't affect what you're looking at on pinfall. It's not like one person's all of a sudden found the magic for, making certain pins fall. It's they're finding the right way to get to the pocket and get the ball through the pocket.
Exactly, and that's in talking to the guys, that's their focus is getting their ball to go through the pins the right way, and the pins will tell you if it's the right way or not. And if there was some sort of magic like throwing it 30 miles an hour hard and fast straight at the head pin and they would all just go flying and fall down. Well, Kevin McCune would have done that earlier today.
Right.
And if that were the case, we would have already seen that somewhere. And so, I guess if there was some sort of magic, like you're saying, like Marshall Kent was doing something that, didn't make any sense, but somehow was scoring way higher than everybody else, obviously we look at that. But that just hasn't been happening. It's just about figuring out how to carry, and and just consistently throwing that shot to do that. And that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm seeing. And there's a few different ways from the right hand side to get through the pins. And Marshall showed us one way, and Eugene and Chad Moss showed us kind of another way. I thought they were fairly similar. They were a little tight. They were hard and fast, and kept it high in the pocket. And Marshall Kent was deep and slower and circling the lane a little bit, but he was getting the ball to go through the pins really well also, but just two different ways of doing it. So it was good to see.
Let's see, any more questions in the chat for Neil at the moment? No, not at the moment. So apparently we've answered everyone's questions on string pins, and your job is done. No. So.
Well, that's fine. Yeah, this is the fourth squad we've done this on, so hopefully they've already listened and asked their questions. Or I'm just that boring and everybody's tuning out and shutting it off. Sorry about that.
I don't think it's that. Wow, there's something
right in front of the 9. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a messenger, but it was not online.
So let's see. 2025 PBA Tour season is going to be coming about. One would think that this wouldn't have string pins wouldn't be debuting on a national level. It would be like a slower rollout, most likely at the regional level, and then once again, it's not like the research is going to stop after this tournament's done. I'm sure.
Yeah, that's true. This is just QubicaAMF string pins. Different pin setters by different companies. I would want to spend some time with each of those. Maybe not 3 full tournaments, but definitely some time. And it'd be like just saying the 8270s are good for free fall, and then that must mean the GSXs are fine, and just saying we're good and moving on. Like that would not be a smart decision. So we're going to spend some time with each of them as they request us to, and so that'll continue on next year. I'm not quite sure how the approval, the PBA approval of these would go if we decide to go with them. Would we try to come out with something right away on the PBA Tour? Not sure.
Yeah.
Most of the centers we go to on the PBA Tour are larger centers, and most larger centers don't have string pins. So it's usually, not totally, but more of them are a little bit smaller. So it is going to be more for the regional tour, maybe the PBA 50 Tour, and that's probably how it will go. If we were to do some special event, maybe it's the strike derby, or I don't know, something like that. That might be a time, where mixing in a string pin setter would be time to go to that. But I really have no idea. I haven't thought through that. Like, first, let's decide whether it's acceptable or not.
And then, as you said, the research never ends. So
yeah, so exactly.
Keep going. So EJ Tackett's going to give a few pins back this game, as he's going to finish with a maximum of 180.
Yeah.
And Mark Blaha was trying to make a bit of a charge. Blaha is sitting near that cut number. Brent, hey, let's get your expertise. What do you think the cut number is going to be there, Neil?
About 102.
There you go. Brent Dahl. Neil Stremel says you're probably in the cut with your plus 111. So take that for what it's worth. Man's seen enough bowling numbers to make Einstein jealous.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, hey, Neil, thanks for sitting in with us for a game. If we get some more questions, bowling balls decide to start rolling off racks here apparently right now. So if we get some more questions, we'll drag you back in Game 7. And, fans, if you got questions for Neil, bring him in. I mean, he's got a little time here. He's talking with the players. The players can bring things to his attention and that type of thing. And
they have.
And they have. And, and here's one last quick question. And before we get to Game 6, if a string knocks a pin over, does it count as a spare or strike?
So as USBC did their approval of the string pin machines, that was their decision, because otherwise, if one person thinks the string knocked it down, one person thinks it didn't, you're going to end up with issues. So basically, they just said if it falls down and it was a string that knocked it down, it counts. So if it falls, no matter how it falls, it counts. And so for us to try to change that, that would require a lot of reprogramming of the pin setter. So we don't plan to reevaluate that decision, and we're just going to move forward with that. So yes, if it falls, USBC says it counts. Doesn't matter how it falls.
Right. So get a question about putting a camera near the pincer. We did have a camera near the pincer during A squad. Go back on A squad and look. We're giving it a little breather here on B squad. But definitely, if you watch the step ladder tomorrow, beginning at 1:30 p.m. Central Time, we'll have a nice close-up camera on our step ladder pair, and you'll actually see the pinfall in pretty good detail, including watching the strings just dangle after the pins go in the pit. So, Neil, thanks for the time again, and I bet you we'll probably drag you back here in Game 7 because I'm sure some people will have some more questions that I won't be able to answer, and you will.
Not a problem. Thank you very much.
All right, Game 6 coming up next.
summer season. Starts off this year with 690, 690. It's just kind of a chucker, winds it up pretty soon. All nothing new, so I think they're just, you know what I'm saying, they're yellow from so Thursday lead 5-man, we decided to add a little more volume because we can't get them to hold up, and anybody that's got high rub rates, they got nothing. They're already between 3rd and 4th aerial 5-man. They can't get them. You can just tell. Anyway, so we add some volume, whatever. Well, now he can't stand and do what he's been doing. So last Thursday, it was 1 week, 1 week. Whatever. He comes in Thursday and says, hey, I just want to make sure, I'm pretty sure you and Kevin decided to make a change in the pattern. Yeah, I could tell they were different last week. I'm like, okay. This is that country? Country lanes, yeah. So whatever. I go, just give a couple right, whatever. I go, just, you know. So he starts off the night. Ring 10 pin, misses it. Goes over lane 2 and adjusts for the 10 pin that he left on lane 1 and goes baby split and misses that. And he's now sitting back going, that night's over. Fucking wasting all the money on my pot games. And I walk over and go, Joe. You're forgetting you talked to the team. Yeah, it's all my basketball games. Yeah. You know, only 6'3" I had. I'm like, just move back to where you left the 10 pin.
All right, we're going to stay here on 5 through 8 for a couple of shots here. We got a system set up for the step ladder. Used it a little earlier today. It's on battery, so I got to watch my battery life, that type of thing. So I didn't have it on for B squad, but we're going to reposition a camera here so you can get a little closer look. It's not as detailed. Unfortunately, we're shooting from 90 feet away, even with zoom. But we'll give you a little closer up look so you can actually get an idea of the string pin action up close. We're got a camera on lane 8. And like I said, if you want some a little more detail, we had it when Neil was in the booth, games 5, 6, 7 on A squad. If you're going to go back on the main feed and watch it, we popped a few close-up shots on there. You can see our little rig down on 7 and 8. Gutter cap right behind the automatic scoring camera. So we'll give you a couple of peeks here. It won't be perfect. It'll look better on Sunday. Promise you that. All right, here we go. Alex Acosta getting ready to step up. Here we go, ball down lane. There you go. There's your close-up. So you can see, like I said, it's a little far away, but you can still see the strings. You see where it's drilled through the head of the pin. And then they tie the knot in the string to keep it inside the pin. And once again, they rotate these pins. The machines track every frame thrown on them, and after 10,000 frames, there's a signal that's sent through the scoring system and to anybody that has the pin setters hooked up to their app that works in the bowling center that says, hey, we've had our 10,000 frames in. It's time to rotate those pins so that way you don't have the head pin constantly getting beat up. Now, obviously, there's bowling centers out there that don't or won't rotate their pins if it's more recreational and such. But here at Foxx, they've already done a couple of rotations with the amount of league play they had. They had a very busy summer season. These pin setters went in, were fully operational on Mother's Day. So 5 months or so under the belt almost, and lots of league play. You're going to get your 10,000 frames relatively quick, as Gruthis stuffs a 7. I wouldn't say no more messengers. I mean, messengers going to milk carton once in a while. We saw Zach Tackett carry one earlier. Saw EJ Tackett almost carry one, but the 6 leaned on the 10 before the messenger got back. We saw several on A squad. So, yeah, don't count them as dead, but, yeah, they do show up in a milk carton for a couple of games on occasion before you see one somewhere in the center. But from talking with a couple of PBA players last week that are on the tour, it's not a bad thing. So many guys would just stay in a spot half 10 but carry a messenger. Okay, well, I don't have to move yet, because if I keep my angle the same, that messenger is going to keep coming back, and they play the odds instead of making the move. Well, now, if you can't count on a messenger and you leave a half 10, guess what you have to do? Make a move and throw it better. Big break there for Landon Jordan. I would have no qualms saying on that shot, it was all just a mess of lumber into lumber to take that out. We'll get you one more close-up look here, but let's be honest, we want to save the good stuff for tomorrow. Stepladder Finals, 1:30 p.m. Your top 4 players after our 8 games of qualifying today. Our top 16 advancing to 4 games in advance round tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Then immediately following a cut to our round of 8 for 3 additional games. And after a round of 8 has their 15-game totals fully verified by one Toby Contreras, they will have our top 4 for the stepladder tomorrow. Once again, 1:30 p.m. And that top prize in the stepladder, $5,000, and we couldn't do without the support of our local sponsors, including KR Strike Force Top Notch Bowling, the pro shop here inside of Fox View Lanes, the Master Machine Company, Certix Decorating, and the Waukesha USBC, all making generous contributions to the prize fund. Almost $20,000 in total in checks being cut by Toby Contreras tomorrow at the conclusion of competition. Here's your 5-game scoring update. Name hasn't changed since game 1. Landon Jordan on top, plus 147. Slowed down a little bit in game 5 by a 179 game. Brent Boho climbing to the standings with a 247 in game 5. Boho now plus 126. Third on B squad, Josh Blanchard plus 104. You're watching Blanchard on this pair currently. Trey Heinrichsmeyer plus 93 in 4th. Matt Hibbard bowling as a guest in 5th at plus 80. EJ Tackett 6th. Tackett's last 2 games, 196, 180, leaves Tackett at plus 72. And Alex Pike at plus 56. Mark Blaha plus 44. The player is currently inside the number. Well, actually, Blaha's first out at plus 44. So right now, Stefan Hainen, our host here this weekend, he's got to be thinking his chances. Slim and none on bowling tomorrow. He'll be here tomorrow. He'll be given the Champions Trophy and the $5,000 check. But odds are, unless some bowlers start tying their shoelaces together, and there's a second hit on the 7-pin. You saw the head of that other pin spin around, take it down. There's your link for your live scoring. Just dropped it in the chat for your waiting, so you can follow your favorite player. A couple of notables outside the cut number currently right now, though. A.J. Johnson -6, Zach Tackett -14. And a couple players with a couple other players with a lot of work to do on this squad as well if they want to jump into the top 16 for tomorrow. Griffin Jordan at +6, Zach Grothus at -1, and Alex Peglow at -8 in the mix there with Johnson -6, Tackett of the Zach variety -14. And back from Tackett, yeah, big jump back to Lyle Kuhlman -77. And Scott Schultz -82. So field starting to thin out a little bit. I wouldn't call Landon Jordan just a junior bowler. He's got a pretty substantial resume. Landon Jordan, a PBA Junior National Finals champion. He's also an ambassador for the PBA Junior program as well. You talk about a young man with some great junior gold finishes. He's won 5 Storm Youth Championships titles, 27 titles for the Elite Youth Bowlers Tour down in Illinois. Won junior gold in 2021 and 2022. Part of the Team USA developmental team for the adults and a current member of Junior Team USA. So Josh Blanchard and Landon Jordan, I wouldn't consider them too far away in bowling talent and ability. And I wouldn't cut Landon Jordan down by saying he's a junior bowler. He's a damn good bowler, not a junior bowler. His age may say junior bowler, but not his talent. Because I'm feeling generous right now. Let's give you another close-up look on the pins here. Once we get Richter's delivery heading down lane 8. Boom, there you go. And there you see the 6 lean on the 10, and we talked about that half 10. There you see Messenger spinning around, not going to get there. Let's take a peek in on the man first out right now. Mark Blaha, our reigning Open Classic Division winner at the PBA LBC National Championships, and Blaha trying to get a finish here, and missing single pins. Yikes. Not good, Mark. Not good. You know that already. He's trying to get to 210 this game. If you can pop a big finish together. And once again, PBA LBC National Championships will be held at Bolero Mount Prospect in the greater Chicagoland area. If you're a current Bolero PBA LBC member or have bowled past editions of the PBA LBC National Championships, you can enter now. Entries will open to all on December 1st. Get all the information about the next edition of the PBA LBC National Championships at pba.com/LBC tournament. And I want to thank our other season-long sponsor with H5G. There's a lot of H5G jerseys on players here today. And you can get yourself your own H5G full custom jersey. If you have one that you see out here and you want to adapt a little bit, they can do that for you as well. Great supporter of bowling and the official merchandiser of the PBA. Get yourself some PBA souvenirs. Get yourself a new jersey. Get it all at 35% off site-wide, and you don't even need a coupon code. How about that? No code needed through October 15th. Check it out when we're done with this round today, h5gbrands.com. And also want to thank hopping on again for another weekend, longtime sponsor BowlerX.com, supporting Striking Out Breast Cancer during Breast Cancer Awareness Month here in October. Make any purchase at BowlerX.com. Make an optional donation along with that purchase. With that optional donation, you're going to get a chance to win a raffle where you can win your choice of a bowling ball, bowling bag, or shoes worth up to $250 in value. Get all the information on that raffle event. And check out the latest and greatest releases as well at BowlerX.com. EJ having a nice little chat with Josh Blanchard about that particular shot. See if we can locate Neil Stremel. If we got questions, we'll bring Neil back in. If not, we'll save Neil for tomorrow morning. As we'll be back with Cashers Round, Advancers Round, whatever you'd like to call it tomorrow. 9 a.m. Central Time, your start time. For our top 16 that are returning. And we'll pair our way down through a 4-game round of advancers, down to 8 players in the aptly named round of 8 for 3 additional games. And that will get us our 4 step-ladder advancers. That will take to the lanes at 1:30 p.m. tomorrow and try to take down that $5,000 first place prize.
How are you? Very good, thank you.
Well, A.J. Johnson trying to make a late run. And the finals will be live tomorrow. Yeah, last week our finals weren't live. We had some internet issues at Easy Bowl, and it was actually it's the first time I've ever had that happen where the internet service provider had to come in on a Sunday and replace the modem and router in the center. So by the time they got it fixed, we were done with the step-ladder. So we had it uploaded pretty quickly, and everybody was able to watch it starting Monday morning. So we will be live tomorrow. 1:30 p.m. is the scheduled start time for that. And you saw that big finish by A.J. Johnson. That's going to move A.J. to about 50 over with 2 to go. So still some work to do for A.J. Johnson if you're an A.J. fan. Johnson just moved from 1 and 2 over to 5 and 6 if you want to catch that feed. I'm sure we'll get back to him as well because they haven't even started on that pair yet. We're getting a little difference in the pacing. And that's just player pacing, nothing to do with pinfalls, anything of that nature. So we should get a 6-game scoring update pretty quick. Thanks to those of you that have tuned in this afternoon. I know some of you may have been using that Bowl TV subscription to watch the RPI for the PBA 50 in the East region at Rippick's Carousel Lanes in Binghamton, in New York. Good friend of the show, Andy Reddig, leading things there. And another good friend of $2 Phil and 10 on the Deck Productions, Sammy Ventura, sitting in third. So good to see a couple of good friends of the 10 on the Deck Productions. Once again, even though we are on the PBA YouTube channel, this is an agreement between 10 on the Deck Productions and the PBA to carry the live stream on PBA YouTube. So please no unauthorized broadcasts or reproductions of the 10 on the Deck production without express written authorization from $2 Phil. So Blaha, we saw he had some struggles last game. He was just outside the number. He's going to be a little further outside the number, and then especially when you have A.J. Johnson passing you. We'll have to see where Blaha stands. Well, here we go. We've got our 6-game scoring update. Still leading the squad, even after only a 200 game. In Game 6 is Landon Jordan. Brent Boho is second on the squad, plus 119. Josh Blanchard third. We'll check in on Blanchard and Landon Jordan momentarily as they're over on 9 and 10. EJ Tackett, fourth on the squad at plus 109 after 237 Game 6. Matt Hibbard fought out a 195. Saw him get the last 5 strikes to get there. 1 and 2. Hibbard at plus 75. A.J. Johnson is 258. Moves him up inside the cut number temporarily at plus 52. Mark Blaha just a pin behind, plus 51. So Blaha grinding it out. Low game of 192, high game of 225 for the man from Eagan, Minnesota. So for his first PBA regional, he's battled the nerves quite well. And, of course, if you have E.J. Tackett on your pair, well, That's going to increase the nerve factor by an exponential factor of 3 at a minimum. A couple players on B squad just on the outside looking in. Alex Pike plus 45, Trey Heinrichsmeyer plus 43, Zach Tackett plus 20. Tackett just threw 234. That is Tackett of the Zach variety. Alex Peglow minus 10, Griffin Jordan minus 15, so a lot of work for those two players. Hey, who says it can't be done? Griffin Jordan goes off the sheet this game, gets himself in the 250s. You still got a chance at it. Graphics department leading our graphics up a little bit too long here in Game 7. Usually this live streaming crew is a well-oiled machine. Got Phil Bob on the graphics. PJ is the production assistant. $2 Phil on the mic. Phil Bob on the producing and directing end of things. So, yeah, there's a lot of us involved in the crew. And for those of you that can't read into that particular sarcasm and joke right now, we are a one-man crew here at 10 on the Deck Productions. We are jumping all over. And we're glad to bring you PBA regional action. And this weekend, to go with last weekend as well, we thank the PBA, Tom Clark and Carissa Del Bene, and all the others at the PBA that have us as a streaming outlet on the PBA YouTube channel this weekend. Usually we're on the respective PBA regional page or the host bowling center pages for our main feed. And then our pair feeds go to our host site at Just a Game Live. But with the importance and, basically open door policy of these string pin regionals, there's nothing behind a black curtain here. Neil's told you the testing minutes, testing methods, what he's looking for, what the research is entailing for possible approval for standard PBA events, whether it starts just at the regional level and eventually makes its way up, or whether it stays at regionals or whatever. They're going to look at all this with the research. So, and it's happening where everyone can see. And glad that the PBA is being open and transparent about what's going on with these string pin setters. Yeah, I like streaming to YouTube too. I'm having a little fun with it, to be honest. Sometimes, when people can't find us on the PBA, respective PBA region Facebook page, there's not as many people that follow the regions, to be honest. Like for the PBA Midwest region, there's about 2,500 followers. It's about the same for the PBA Central region, and we try to get notice out there to people how we can, but we're pretty limited when we don't use official PBA channels, but we always get ourselves a nice audience, and there's a lot of the diehards out there that watch us every time we stream a regional, and it's a lot of work for us here at 10 on the Deck Productions because we have to not only get approval from the PBA to carry a regional, we also have to have the PBA then get approval from USBC, because with the Bowl TV contract, it doesn't matter the level of PBA competition that it is, whether it's a PBA Tour event on the national tour or it's a PBA Junior event. With the agreement between the PBA and the USBC, Bowl TV has digital rights to all events, and they have to release those rights to a third party such as 10 on the Deck Productions. So everybody comes together. I always appreciate the assistance of people at the PBA to make sure we can stream these regionals. We get about, we try to get 9 or 10 regionals a year out there to dance around all the rest of my bowling broadcasting schedule, whether it's the weeks the PBA brings me in to live stream the LBC National Championships. As one of the great features of that event is that even if your friends and family can't make it in person to watch you bowl at Bolero Mount Prospect, they were able to watch the live streams of the event, and I would hope that would be coming back in 2025. But it's a great feature. I know a lot of people have enjoyed it, having friends and family able to watch back home, because we cover the whole house there too. Last year, 36 lanes we had in play at Palermo Prospect, and people were able to watch all of those lanes and follow their favorite player from pair to pair. And then we had some PBA Tour professionals there. Well, we do a special main feed. We had some great chats last year with Stu Williams and Chris Barnes and Chris Vi, Norm Duke, of course. Boy, opening weekend with Norm Duke is always a blast. He's always answering so many fan questions. So I'm hoping the live streaming comes back as well, because I know it's a great feature everybody loves about the LBC National Championships, along with the opportunity to take down a bunch of prize money. If you watch that PBA LBC Clash from Bayside Bowl, there was $100,000 in total up for grabs. All of that was added money to the event by the PBA. The main prize fund had $30,000 added to it. That, once again, another PBA edition. So get all your information on the PBA LBC National Championships. PBA.com/LBC Tournament. And the official merchandise provider for the PBA, and they are also one of the reasons why we're able to live stream 9 or 10 PBA regionals per year. H5G Brands through October 15th. Take a peek at what you look to see on H5G Brands. If you find a jersey or some PBA merchandise, some accessories, order them up, stick them in your cart. You're automatically going to get a 35% discount on almost everything on the H5G Brands website. Check it out after we're done today, h5gbrands.com. There you see the finish for Landon Jordan that game, leading the squad. Let's check in on a man who was climbing the leaderboard with Trey Heinrichsmeyer. Heinrichsmeyer clean, no doubles through 7. And let's check in on another player who's trying to make a big climb. And he'll be stepping up momentarily on lane 6. And that is A.J. Johnson. Over to Johnson. Hey, Ducey. Hey, thanks for stopping by today. Appreciate it. Love the good work Dog Tags Bowling does. There's a lot of veterans that bowl those military championships in Las Vegas. My goodness. Those are huge. Johnson bounced back off a single pin miss with a double, but still some work to go. For AJ. Well, we're going to have our work cut out for us in Game 8. There's going to be a lot of players flirting with that cut number. So we will do our best to provide an accurate cut number for you. Get the players that are close to the cut and follow them. So you've probably seen the last of Landon Jordan in the main feed here today, as he is well secured into competition tomorrow. Probably won't be seeing much of Brent Boho or Josh Blanchard or EJ Tackett in the main feed either, as they're all pretty secure, barring full disaster last games. But you never know. I mean, we'll get those 7-game totals out momentarily. Alex Peglow, he's minus 10 coming into this game. You see him getting ready to bowl on lane 8. I'm sorry, it's Kuhlman on lane 8, but he's on the same pair with Kuhlman and Schmidt. And if Peglow can get out of here with 255, don't fully count Peglow out either. Matt Hibbard, yikes. 2 single pin misses for a man that was at plus 75. He does not have a lot of room to spare above that cut number to try to make it to tomorrow. Yeah, Hibbard's going to need to turn this one around, ladies and gentlemen. This is not looking good at the moment. 3 opens his last 4 frames, only 2 strikes through 7. I mean, he's already looking at A.J. Johnson passing him at the scoreboard. Meanwhile, we mentioned Heinrichsmeyer. You just saw the shot go down lane 4. We'll get over to him momentarily after Johnson throws in the 8th. Nine and a half back for Johnson. That last pin a little slow to leave the pin deck. Let's go back. You'll see Heinrichsmeyer coming to your view momentarily on lane 4. There you see Brent Boho. Boho, as we mentioned, plus 119 for Boho. And one open, but an offsetting double. He's pacing in the 190s right now. Boho stays at that plus 120 number. He'll definitely see action tomorrow. Might just be a few more pins he'll have to get back. Heinrichsmeyer making it happen. Stayed patient, didn't lose any frames, filled them all. And he'll be in the 220s. He was at plus 43, so that's going to get him right in the heart of trying to get in the cut. So just a single game remaining here. For B squad qualifying, we will know our 16 advancers to tomorrow's competition after that final game of B squad. Once again, I want to thank all of our local sponsors that supported this event and helped contribute to the prize fund, including the Waukesha USBC. Certix Decorating, and Master Machine Company, along with Top Notch Bowling and KR Strike Force. Our 8th and final game of the PBA Foxx Lanes Midwest Open qualifying. Coming up next, after player movement, players are simply moving one pair to the right for this final qualifying game. All right, we got our bowlers a little spaced out here, so got some players already finishing up 8th, 9th, 10th frame here in Game 8. So we'll stick with them, and we'll get our score update. And after we get the score update, we'll start tracking players that are in or near that cut number. I'm $2 Phil Brylow. Take you through the weekend with 10 on the Deck Productions. Thanks again to the PBA for giving us an outlet to stream to this weekend for this research regional, this PBA Foxx Lanes Midwest Open, taking place with QubicaAMF Edge string pin setters. Well, JT Growth is trying to put up a big finish. Might be a little bit too late, but hey, never say die, never quit. Learn something at every shot. Growth is right now at minus 126 after 6. As we mentioned, 7-game update shouldn't be too far behind. Toby Contreras was right on top of the last finishing pairs. They'll just get those scores verified and then get them uploaded to the internet. Once again, dropping the link for the live scoring into Zach Tackett after 6. He was at plus 20. Flirting with the cut number. He was about 30 out at the time. And Tackett now with a maximum score of 208. Unless he had a huge Game 7, it might be all she wrote for the Tackett of the Zach variety for the weekend. Zach's still going to try to finish out strong. Obviously, you just never know what other players might shoot. You can only control what you do on the lanes. And yeah, Zach was 205, so plus 25. He gets another 15 here. It's not going to be enough cuts. Wow, cut is sitting at the dead score. Stefan Hanen at plus 57. I got to say, that's a little surprising at this moment in time. Let's give you the full rundown of your top 16. Your top 3 off of A-Squad dead scorers: Marshall Kent, 243 of the positive. Chad Mass, plus 194. Ryan Zager, plus 190. Landon Jordan at plus 177. Josh Blanchard, plus 165. EJ Tackett, plus 159. That's all players you'll definitely see tomorrow. You're definitely going to see Matt Gasson and Luke Switalski off of A-Squad. Kevin McCune as well as Gasson plus 133, Switalski plus 125, McCune plus 123. Brent Boho, we'll check in on Boho momentarily as Boho will be on 3 and 4. Actually, let's go down there now. He's stepping up. He's only in his 3rd frame. Boho plus 122. And if he keeps doing that, he'll stay in. No doubt about it. Now's where it starts getting interesting. Brett Dahl, I know you're still watching, plus 111. You got to feel pretty good. You're 44 up on the number with 1 to go. That's Alex Pike. Pike at plus 83. That's ahead of the dead score, Dave Barris. So Barris, a pretty good opportunity that Barris might see some advances around competition tomorrow. Saw the big finish for Heinrichsmeyer. Heinrichsmeyer now at plus 69 after closing out the 226 game in Game 7. A.J. Johnson in 15th overall, plus 63 after Johnson's 211 effort. And Haanen, right now, the man on the number, plus 57, but he's got a bunch of live scores trying to chase him down. Let's check in on what Blaha is doing at the moment. Tackett staying clean through 4 with spares. Blaha strike and 2 spares, looking for the 3rd in a row. So Blaha at plus 46. Then we have some dead scores. Bloomquist, Russell, Martinez, 43, 31, 27. So they're not going to get there. Zach Tackett, we just saw finish with 215, so he's going to be short. He'll be at plus 40. Matt Hibbard. Hibbard's going to need a ton. He started with a 3-bagger. But Hibbard right now, after finishing at 146 in Game 7, is back at plus 21. So he's going to need 237 to get past Haanen. Griffin Jordan, who we just saw finish on 11 and 12, was at plus 17. I'm not sure if Griffin had enough. And then Alex Peglow minus 20. It's going to take a ton for Peglow. And Peglow not going to be able to get there. We'll keep an eye on Heinrichsmeyer. Heinrichsmeyer on 5 and 6. Johnson right next door is 7 and 8. Hey, let's go over since we have him on there. There's Johnson. 3-bagger after opening with a spare. Griffin Jordan finished with 214, so that's not going to be enough. So really it's down to Blaha and Hibbard to try to jump that score of Haanen. And wow, that thunder is a rumbling outside right now. Hibbard on front 4. And we'll get down to Blaha momentarily as he's going to be stepping up. Blaha is going to need a bunch of strikes. He's got Hibbard in the rearview mirror. As we mentioned, Hibbard. There's Blaha. 6 frame goes high, and yikes. Got to spare that, and you got to start finding some strikes in a hurry, Mark, if you want to make competition tomorrow. Still, first regional for Blah, and he's having a spectacular showing. Heinrichsmeyer, I don't want to call that a break. Yeah, it's a break. That was not a good shot, and you saw him slap that one out, knowing it was a tad bit high. Hibbard looking for a fistful on the bottom and a fistful on the scoreboard. How about that? Husbler. Hibbard bowls one of his leagues here at Fox View and just shot at 800 earlier in the week. Obviously, conditions fully different for this PBA Regional. Blaha did pick up his spare. So all of our players in cut contention are here on 1 through 8. So players like Blanchard. I don't think Blanchard shot a 100 game. Over to Blaha. It's mandatory strike mode now with the way that Hibbard's striking, and that's not happening for the man from Eagan, Minnesota. You can't count on A.J. Johnson falling back. That's definitely for sure. And you can't count on Matt Hibbard stopping striking. He only had a 25-pin advantage over Hibbard, did Blaha. That's long gone with the opening 5-bagger. Yeah, Blanchard finished at 196. He's fine. EJ's plugging right along. EJ is fine. Landon Jordan. Well, Jordan had a little stumble last game, 143, but still he'll be in the plus 120 range. He won't lead the squad, but he'll definitely be seeing action tomorrow. And Heiringsmeyer can't take advantage of that big break last frame. We're going to stay here with Heiringsmeyer and Hibbard and Johnson, as those are the actual 3 players that are closest to the cut line other than Mark Blaha. When Blaha steps, we'll switch over. And we'll get right back here. As Johnson with the strike. There you see Blaha lane 1. Oh, heartbreak. And even with the conversion there, that's pretty much going to end his chance if Hibbard can throw up a 6th consecutive strike. Make it a 6-bagger for Hibbard. What a bounce-back game he's having. He's already got his 7th game beat. Let's check on Blaha. How about that? Still has a chance for 211, but it's just not going to be enough in this case. But hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Alex Pike still has some work to do. Pike was plus 83, and his max score now is 200. But once again, that's just not going to have enough frames left for Blaha to catch Pike unless Pike really goes open the last 2 and ends up in the 140s. It's 37 pins the difference between Pike and Blaha. Over to Johnson. Oh, 6 almost got to the 10. Oh, the wrap 10 and a wiggle. Heiringsmeyer. Now over to Blaha. Yeah, he's got to get these last 4 to put any pressure on Pike, and Pike's sitting right next door watching him. So Pike knows there's only 37 pins between the 2. How about it, Blaha? There you go. Still get to 211. Oh, but Pike responds in kind with the foundation frame strike. So that's going to force an open out of Pike and a strikeout by Blaha to have any chance for Blaha to get in. As Hibbert's going to be stepping up looking for 7 in a row. I mean, that's the leapfrog already. There we go. Front 7. Nice cover by Johnson. Johnson's just got to keep filling frames at this point. Blaha already in the rearview mirror. Just can't fall to a 193 or less, because otherwise Johnson and our cut number currently Haanen would flip-flop on the leaderboard. So Pike left a 10-pin first ball of the 10th. Let's get down to Pike as he needs to make this, get in the 170s. And that's going to force Blaha to, I'm not even sure if Blaha punching would be enough. It's 37 pins the difference. Well, there's an open, so just was informed by David O'Sullivan, thanks for the stats, that if Blaha strikes out, they'd be tied, Blaha and Haanen. But the thing is now 167 for Pike. That drops Pike behind Haanen at plus 50. So we may not have any need for a roll-off, but it's going to take Blaha getting the first 2 and 4 pins. Oh, 10 doesn't go. And that's going to leave Blaha on the outside looking in. Over to Hibbard. Looking for the excellent 8th in a row. Nope. Maybe. No, that's going to get reset up in the 8-pin spot as it got shoved over by a pin, but did not fall. We'll see Trey tomorrow with fill-in frames. Once again, Hibbert, even if he opens the rest of the way out, he's in the 220s. That gets him in the plus 40, so Hibbert's still a little work to do. Gets the cover over to Blaha. Got the spare, and he 4 8s or 4 9s again on the last ball. So Blaha 189. Loses 11. That's plus 35. Boho definitely in for tomorrow. Heinrichsmeyer just needs to keep putting frames out there. So Herbert needs to get to 230 to pass Pike and get in. A.J. Johnson just needs to fill one of the next 2 frames with good counts. There you go. That's the best way to fill frames. So A.J., count him in for tomorrow. Heinrichsmeyer, he's in the 2s already, so yeah, he's in. Hibbert, he's not done with yet, but a strike here can make it real easy to get there. And there you go for Hibbert. Hibbert just needs count. Hibbert just needs count. And I have unofficially, and maybe I can get this verified by Mr. O'Sullivan, that Stefan Hainen's the number at plus 57. Of course, we can't say officially yet because, Matt Hibbert could, try to set himself on fire and jump the Snake River Canyon before his 10th frame. Don't see that happening. So we're going to say fully unofficially that your bowlers in no particular order for tomorrow are Marshall Kent, Chad Moss, Ryan Zagar, Landon Jordan, Josh Blanchard, E.J. Tackett, Matt Gasson, Luke Switalski, Kevin McCune, Brent Boho, Brent Dowell, David Barris, Trey Heinrichsmeyer, A.J. Johnson, Matthew Hibbard, and looks like your cut number is going to be Stefan Hainen at plus 57. So a host makes a cut. Always like to see when that happens. It's hard enough work trying to just host a regional, but then you're hearing everything that's going on and around you. You're making sure the bowlers that are in here and the fans that are in here are having the best experience possible. It's just odd now. It's so quiet in the bowling center because these QubicaAMF string pin setters don't make a lot of noise. Once the pins are set, they basically go dormant. And with us being not too far behind, 7 and 8. Somebody just hollered 2-ball it. But yeah, good time for that, if there's any good time for Johnson. But pinfall carries over tomorrow, and we will start broadcasting the advancers round for this PBA Foxx Lanes Midwest Open at 9 a.m. Central Time tomorrow. Thanks again to all of our sponsors for the day: the PBA LVC National Championships, H5G Brands, BowlerX.com, the Waukesha USBC, Certix Decorating, and Master Machine Company. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. We hope to see you tomorrow. Parents, take the kids bowling because you know they're going to have fun for life. 9 a.m., kickstarting everything. See you tomorrow.